we'll be making on the homestead today is we're going to make steak that's cooked in the oven. So what you're going to need for that is mushrooms, onions, peppers, some garlic, of course some steak. I'm going to need 2.5 cups of beef stock. I'm going to need 3 tablespoons of Worcester sauce, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, salt, pepper, and 1/4 of a cup of flour. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move to the stove after we sprinkle the flour and salt and pepper onto the beef and heat up the olive oil in the pan. So once that's done, I'll bring you back. Once you sprinkle your meat with the flour and the salt and pepper, this is what it's going to look like. So we're just moved over to the stove. We're going to take our olive oil and we're going to put it in there and we're going to brown the meat. Once we have the meat browned, we're going to take it out of the pan and add the other ingredients in. And I'll bring you back once the oil warms up. So the meat is starting to brown. And these are thin, which is fine because I also have really thick ones. So the mix will be nice. See, these are the real thick ones. I just haven't put them in yet. Some people I find, like little kids, I cook thin ones for. So I just cook them the same way. So I just bring it back once I have it all done here. I'm going to preheat the oven to 375. What we're now going to do is we're going to layer the bottom with this, with the vegetables. And you're going to save enough to cover the top as well before we put the steak in. So we're using onions, some mushrooms, some peppers, as well as some garlic. So we're just going to save the rest of the vegetables, which is about that much, and we're just going to put the steak in next once we get to adding the beef stock and the Worcester sauce into the pan. Once your meat's browned, what you're going to do is you're going to take it out. Now remember, you're not going to cook it all the way this way, you're just going to brown it. I do apologize for my inability to grab a hold of that. I am using one hand. Okay, so what we're going to do now, after we did that, is we're going to add in the broth. Once the meat is removed, what we're going to do is add in the broth. And that is 2.5 cups. So I'm just going to bring it back once I have that added in. We're adding in our Worcester sauce. Now we're going to bring this to a boil, scraping the sides and getting the flavor off the sides. Then once it's boiled, we're going to remove it from the heat. I'll bring you back. So what we just did is we added in the meat on top of the vegetables. Now don't be alarmed if you see some blood. We just fried it up long enough to actually just brown it. So we're just waiting for that mixture on the stove to come to a boil. Then we're going to add that in. Then we're going to wrap it with tin foil and we're going to bake it for about 2 hours on 375. So we're now sprinkling the leftover vegetables on because we're just ready to add our mixture in. So it's now time to add in our mixture. And remember, you're going to cover this with tin foil and bake it. So there we go. And I'm just going to put it in the oven now, and I'll see in an hour. We're going to check on it, so I'll bring you back in an hour. This is the yummy supper. Of course, it's with fully loaded baked potatoes, the oven baked steak, and the Caesar salad. Yum, yum, yum.